Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. So in the previous video we learned about lambda, generators and decorators. I hope you got all the concept clearly. If you are facing any difficulties, please comment out and I'll try to solve your issue. Today we'll be learning about very important topic in Python that makes Python most robust is because of this word called import. We'll learn what import is, how we do that slowly by slowly. So let's get started. So first is what is import. Import is like suppose if you have some things you don't want to repeat, like for not repeating we use function, right? But even if there is function, if you go to different script, we'll write that function again and again, right? To avoid that, there is a concept of importing where we will import that script, the function from that script without repeating it. So that is what an import in small definition is. It's like importing functionality from other script. So it's like importing functionality from other scripts. A script means the Python file, okay? Python file. So importing functionality from what this means is let me give you an example. Suppose we have one more file, okay? Let me create one more file called module. So suppose this is one file. So here we have a function called add, and add is simple. It takes two numbers, num1 and num2, and it returns you this add. It returns you the sum of it, num1 plus num2. And how do you call? You know how it is simple to call. You call it just like add and you pass the number here. Okay, now if you run this python module.py, so it did not print anything because we did not use the print keyword. Now you need to use the print because if it's returning something you need to print out. So if you do 1 and 2 and run this with this parenthesis, see it printed out 3, right? Now if you go to this then the one we are working with, import module lecture 13. Now if you wanted to add a function here, you need to write the same thing again, right? You need to repeat this. You need to copy from here and put it here. But that is not the way of how we said, right? We said in the previous class itself, we don't want to repeat ourselves. So earlier we used to use function because we don't want to repeat like num1 plus num2. But now we don't want to repeat adding this functionality to every script. So that is how the import becomes very useful. So how this works, let me show you. So it has a keyword called import, import. What this import does is it takes a file or name of a file or module to say like what should be imported. Now this is the file, you know, right? It's named as module.py. What you can do, you can just put this here module. So now what it will do, it will search for your directory where you are writing, right? Suppose this is a directory, this is our Python YouTube Python folder. To look in this folder if this name, any Python file is written with this name. If it is written, it will import everything that is part of this, right? It will do all of this. It will take all of this and bring it here. Now if you run this, if you see Python 13, see it printed 3. We did not go to module and do this, right? But in the here only when we did, it printed 3. Why? Because it got everything from module.py. Whatever is here, right? Now you can have access here also. If you want to see, suppose we want that add, right? What you can do is you can do module dot add and pass here 5 6 is 11, right? So now if you print this, see it printed 3 and 11 both, but we did not declare the function add here, right? We imported it. So now whatever is in here, right, all the variables, function and classes, whatever you write here, all will get access from here itself. So suppose there is a variable, suppose x equals to variable, okay? Now you can have even access to this also. Now if you run this, you can write here print module.x. Now if you run this, see you have access to the variable also. So whatever is in this script, right, you'll have access here also. So that is how the import works. So it takes the name of the Python file or the name of the package and it can use everything. Just put the name, put a dot and put the function name or put the variable name, and you'll have access to everything that is part of this script. But there is one problem. If you see here, 3 is getting printed, right? We don't want that. Whenever you're importing something, we don't want to run this script. We just want to import the things. We don't want to run this script. For this, there is one variable call. So we have learned about something called globals, right? So if you print globals on this module file, right? This is module.py, okay? This is the new file we created that we wanted to import. If you run this globals, we have learned about globals when we learned about built-in functions in Python. Now if you run this Python module.py. So you'll get all the things that are part of this script. We have learned about globals, locals on the built-in function. See, there is one property called name equals to main. If you see this, right? So what this is, this is present in all the script in Python. Okay, whenever you run this globals, you'll have access to something called name. So every script has a name. Okay, so every script, this script also has a name, and by default when you run a Python file, right, it will have the value as main. So what you can do, if you don't want to print this, right, when you import this, what you can do, you can put an if clause here. So you can say something like if name, you know, name is part of the script, is equals to main, is equals to main, then only run this. Okay, now if you run this, the previous one, right, where we imported this, these two things will not get printed. I'll say you why. Okay, now if you run this, see, only 11 and variable got printed, but earlier this 3 was also getting printed, right? Why this is happening is, now let me do one thing. So when you import this, right, when you import a variable, the name of this changes. So now if you do module dot name, right, so when you import any script, the name of this get updated. If you run this now, see, it changes to the name of the script. So if you are running a script directly using Python in the name of the script, this name takes the value of main. But when you are importing, right, the name changes to the name of the script, that is module for now. So that is why this line, right, you'll be seeing in every larger project script, or when you are getting a little bit advanced type or intermediate, right, this line will come very useful. So this is the way to avoid doing the task in a script, like this script, like this script wants to print this thing, but you don't want that when you're importing this, it should run this 2 line. So what you can do, just put in the if clause, because we know even it will run. Okay, if you do python module.py, it will run this. See, you'll get this 3, you'll get the globals also, but this will only run when you run the script directly. But when you import, right, it won't run, because when you import, the name becomes the name of the module. Here it will become this module, the name of the package, that is here it is written module, so it will take this as name. So if you wanted to avoid this, right, so use this line whenever you are trying to make a script to be imported by other script. If you are running some function and you wanted to run that function, put it inside this if clause, so that if you're importing this as package for other script, right, it won't run this. It will only run when you're running this directly as a Python file. So that is how this line runs. So this is very useful. Okay, very important, very important. Okay, now I hope you understood like why we needed this import, why we import other scripts. The main idea is to use the functionality that we already did in the other script, and we don't want to repeat those functionality here again and again. So that is why we import this module. So that I hope you understood it. So how you can do is, you can create any script. If you are defining any new function, you can put it in a different Python file, and if you want to import, just use this import keyword and put the name of the file or name of the package, and you can use all the functionality of that package directly from the other script. So this is how you use the word import. Just like built-in functions, right, that we learned in the previous class, there is also built-in module or built-in packages that Python provide out of the box. So some packages, let's describe 2 of them. First is the math. So what you can do, import math. So this is one package that Python provides built-in. So when you run this import math, right, first it will search if there is any package or any file in your local directory, on the directory where you are running this script. Okay, if there is anything called math.py, if it is not there, then it will look for the built-in and see if there is any built-in or not. So if it finds, then it will find this module. Now if you can do some property, you can do math operation using this math module. Okay, so what you can do, you can write print math.py. You know, pi is a math operator where, say, it prints the value of 3.144. This we did not describe anywhere. This is part of the math library that Python has by default. It's a built-in Python package. So you can use math operation using this. There are many things you can do with this. You can write, you can have print the cos, sine value of things also. You can write math dot cos of 90. Now if you run this, say you should print something like minus 0.44. Okay, you can do all the math operation. There are many operations you can do using math. Okay, so there is one. I'll take you to this. I'll give you a link where you can see all the functionality that this math provide. So you can go to this website. This is from the Python docs, official Python docs. You can go to this math.html. You can see there are many things math provide. You can do square root math, all the functionality of fractions, and all the geometry parts. Everything you can be done using this math library. It provides most of the things that you will need when dealing with mathematical terms. So look at this Python module and you'll understand how math module works. Similarly, like math, there is also one more extra package that Python provides by default is datetime. Import datetime. So what is datetime? It deals with everything date and time. Like it deals with today's date. You can do what was the date 10 years ago, something like this. You can do everything. Like just like import, right? Importing a package. You can also import things from the module. Like when in the module, right? When we wrote this import module, you can also write from module import add. So now we don't need to write module.add. If you see this, okay, let me run this once again. I need to print add 55 and run this once again. See, it gives 10, right? So you can import only the functionality that you want also. So if you don't want to import the complete module and don't want to have access to everything, right, you can import something like this. You can write from name of the script, then import the functionality that you want to import. Here, like we imported X, we imported add, right? We did not import X, so we can't use X now. So this is also one way of importing. So similarly from date and time, right, there is a package called datetime. What you can do is you can do from datetime import datetime. Why we did this is if you import datetime directly like import datetime, right, you have to write two things, datetime, then the functionality. But if you do this way, right, just writing one time datetime will give you access to all the functionalities. Let's come to the most used functionality of this is now. So you can know what is the date and time of today, current what we are doing, right? You can do this. How you can do this? You can do print datetime dot now. Now if you run this, see, it will give you today's date. So today is 26th of September 2023 and the time is 4:58. So if you want to get the current date and time, right, then you can use the datetime.now. Similarly like math, right, it provides many of the things that datetime that are related to date and time. So I'll link the website to it also. So these are all Python official docs, okay. Just follow this doc and see whatever things you can do using datetime. For datetime, I have one example. So in the previous class when we learned about decorator generators, right, I could not show you how the time difference, like when you use generator, how it's different from using general function and how the time gap. So for today I created one script and let me print this script. Let me uncomment it. Okay, let me go through this script one by one. Okay, I'll not go through in detail because we already learned how generators and how decorator works. So I'll just go from the top also just to show you what we are doing. So first we imported this date time like we did just now, right? So that we can have access to the current time. Then we created one decorator. You know how to create a decorator? We create a function. Inside this we create a wrapper. So what we did is before the function run, right, we created a start time so that we know what is the time before the script run. And after the script ran, we again calculated what was the current time after the script finished. Then what we did, then we did a print statement, and what we did, we subtracted the time. We did end time minus start time so that we know what is the time it took to run this function, because we have a timestamp from previous, we have after the function was calculated, right? So to see what was the time taken for this function to complete, then we added this, then we return the wrapper. Now we created two more functions. One is using this simple where we put all the numbers in a list. This is a 5 million. Put it in the list and we return the list. We don't print it. We write a pass. What does a pass does is it does not print or do anything. It will just go through this loop, all the numbers, and it won't do anything. Okay, this is a simple function, and we added the decorator of time log because we want to know how much time it took for running this script. Similarly, we have learned about generator and the yield function, right? So we created one more function called return number generator. Here we are not using this list type of thing. but we are yielding it, because you know in generator we can yield a number and that will take an object of iterator. Then we are calling one more function, since we don't print it here, right? For printing it, we are calling one more function called call generator, that will call the generator and it will do the same thing like the previous normal function. It will just pass it for all the list. And here also we are adding this decorators. Now we are calling both of this function. So what is the purpose of this is to check how much time it takes for running a simple function and how much time it takes for calling a generator. Okay, now let's run this. Okay, it's taking some time to run. Let's wait for this to run so I can show you what we are trying to do. I did not do this previous because here if you see we are importing datetime and we haven't talked about datetime. So today since we talked about it, so I just wanted to talk about this. Okay, now if you see here, right, say time taken for return num. Return num is the simple function, no generator involved. It took 10 seconds for 5 million numbers. But when you did a generator, right, call generator, it only took 5 seconds. So there is already a gap of 5 seconds just for doing the same thing. Here also we are forming a list. Here also we have a list like things where we get all the numbers, and here also we do the same thing. So for the same thing, you see there is a gap of 5 seconds when you use generator and when we don't use generator. So that was it, what I was trying to say why we can use generator for using a larger list. So here you may think like we are creating a list and appending, right? That's why it's taking a lot of time. Yes, but you can do using generator the same, you can fulfill the same purpose, only that you can't have an index and all that, but those won't be necessary when you're doing a so long number, right? If you want to just print it out, then you can use generator, because you can see there is a difference of 5 seconds only for 5 million numbers, and sometime you may go to 20-30 million and this difference will be huge. So yeah, that was it. That was what I was trying to say about generators and decorators. Since we have access to date and time, so I just wanted to show you how the time difference works in this. So now you might be wondering, like when we do import, how does when we do import of anything, right, how does Python know where to look for? Like it can look for our directory we are working, or it can also look for the default, right? So there is a package called sys, sys. This is a system package, and what you can do, you can do print sys.path. So what this will do, this will give all the path that Python looks for when you do any import statement, right? So now if you run this, see it has some file here. So this is the where I'm working. This is my current directory, and it has some Python 11 DLLs, libs, and all this. So you can go through all this folder in your computer. This will be different for you, okay? This will be different for everyone working, because where our things are stored may be different for Mac, Linux, and Windows. For my Windows, this shows the thing. So you can go through all this folder and see what are the packages Python comes by default. Okay, so these are all the packages that Python checks, or all the folder that Python checks when we do an import. So how we can do it? Using this sys.path. So Python checks for all the path. First it will check for this. Okay, this is the one that you are working on. This is your working directory where this script is running currently, and these are all the one that are built by Python when you install Python, right? These are all the folder built by it, and there is all the packages, all the Python built-in packages. Like in the lib, you can find all the datetime and all the packages that we are using here. Okay, so that is it. How you can see like where does Python look for packages when importing. So you can just use this import sys and .sys.path, and you'll get access to all the folders that Python is looking for when we import. But these are all about the offline, right? Or all the script that we created, like this module.py. This is the script we created, right? But there are many things when we want from the internet. Like people are building this AI and all this module, right? We cannot build it, but we can import their work. If they are opened up their work, right, we can import their packages and we can work it. So how do you do that? So there is a website called, let me go to Firefox, and there is a website called pypi.org. Okay, you can go to this website. Say it's pypi.org. I'll put this here. Let me put it in the script. Okay, this is the website. Go to this website and you'll see a search project here. This is, and see how there is 483,000 packages here. There are millions of releases, millions of files, and see there are 7, almost a million of users also. So this is a repository or where all the packages are stored for Python. Okay, and you can search for packages here. So today we'll be looking at one package called request, requests. So these are packages that are on the internet, okay, that you wanted to use, that people are building. You did not build it, people are building, and they gave you access to use them. So we'll be looking for a package called request. So this is one package that is called request. What this does is it helps in it's a simple HTTP library, so you can have access to website directly from your browser script itself. How do you install it? So you can install using this line. You can do pip install and name of the package, or you can press this here, the copy to clipboard, right? Copy this and paste it in your terminal. So you can add Ctrl V. Now this will install this package in your computer. For me it says request already satisfied because I've installed it previously. So it stored a cached version of it, so that's why it's downloading it from there itself. But for you it will start downloading, and you can see it will download. Now what you can do, you can go to your script and you can write up import request, import requests. If you do this and run this project, right, if it does not throw any error, that means request got successfully downloaded. And if it throws any error or you're facing difficulty in downloading, put in the comment, I'll see it and I'll solve it. Okay, now what you can do using this request. So this request is HTTP library, that means you can call any website from it and see what is the content of it. So let's do one thing, let's see what is contained in Python org, right? So you can do request dot get. So just like we saw, right, when we import a library, then you want to get the function, we put dot and then the name of the function. So this request library has different type of function, but one of them is get. Get is what? To get a website. Then you put the URL here. Suppose we put the URL as https, then we put python.org. So this is the default Python Python website. Okay, now what you can run this and wait for this. It did not print anything because we did not print anything, but now if you do here, right, you do print Python, this should give you if it able to access the website or not. Run this once again. See, it gives response 200. Response 200 means this website is valid and I got access to this. Now if you want to print what are the content of this website, right, then you can just do print python.text. Now if you run this, see, you should see all the HTML, CSS content and the JavaScript content of this website directly on your terminal. So you know, when you go to a website, you can see the source, right? Here this is also like the source. You can see all the source of the website directly from your terminal itself. So that is how this request library works. So you can call a website and look all of it so directly from your script. So we'll do a fun one here. So there is a website called ipinfo.io. So what this website does is, so it can give you access to all your IP address or your IP related thing. So let's do one thing, let's call the request.get, and the name of the website is https ipinfo.io. Now if you run this, and let's put in a variable because we want the response. Now if you convert this response into JSON, right, so it returns the file in JSON format. So you do response.json. This should give you all the things related to your IP. Now if you run this, see, it gives you all your IP address and IP related thing. So it gives the IP address, it gives the host name, it gives the city, it gives the country and all of this. So that is how you can use this import request project. So if you want to know what are the more things we can do using it, you can just go to this request on the PyPy, right, and you can go to the documentation and you should get it. So I'll put the link here itself. So you can go to this package documentation and see what are the things we can do using request. Very popular package in Python ecosystem. Okay, so get access to this, see what are the things we can do using it, and you should be familiar with what request can achieve. Request is very useful and is being used by very large projects also. So that was it, how you can get access to the one that is on the internet, where you can download those packages and use it as if it was yours. You don't have to write it from ground up because someone has already written it and you don't have to work for it. So this is the reason that Python is popular, because there are millions of packages there. You can use them, though you don't know how it works, but you can see their source code, get some learning, or use the function that is already created. Okay, so those are some of them. Now there are some fun little scripts that Python provide out of the box, and one of them are fun packages. Okay, so one of them is called this. You can do import this. Now if you save this and run, right, see, you'll get something like this. You do not print anything or do anything, right, but still you'll get something like this when you run this project, just by using this line. What this line is, it says like what's the motto behind Python. Like, you know, Python looks beautiful, right? So that's why it's beautiful is better than ugly, explicit is better than implicit. So it defines like how you should approach Python and how your coding style should be. So that this is just a gem of what Python is. It was written by Tim Peters. So this is one of the fun packages that is included in Python by default. You can use this. There is one more package called anti-gravity. What you can do, just comment this out, import anti-gravity. Just run this. You should, it's a fun thing. Okay? Just run this. See, it will open up a website for you, and you'll get this XKCD comic. So you can say, how are you flying Python? Then you can read this. You just say import anti-gravity and it opens this browser by itself. So this is one more fun project that Python includes by default, so that you can use and see how Python importing system is. Just it changes the way you think of Python. Okay, it opens up a lot of things, like what you can do and what more can get accomplished by using the tasks of others. So there is also one more, like suppose you wanted, here it opens anti-gravity only a comic, right? But what if you wanted to open a URL from your script? What you can do, you can import web browser. There's a package called web browser. Now what you can do, you can just do web browser. So let's do web browser as WP. So they will learn one more thing. So since web browser is a long name, right? So if you wanted to make it short, you can use ASWB. Now whenever you use WB, Python will understand you are saying web browser. Now you can WB dot open. Now let's do HTTPS python.org. Okay. Now what this will do, it will open up your default browser and go to this website. Now if you run this, see, it opens up your browser and you'll go to python.org. So that those are some of the fun little projects that are included in Python. Now I'll be showing two more graphical projects that are included in Python. Okay, one of them is Turtle. So Turtle is a Python library that can help you with basic graphic things. So there is a lot of things you can do with it, but it's a simple library. Okay, let's import it. So what you can do, you can do import Turtle. Okay, that's how you import it. Then you need to create an object of Turtle. Okay, suppose let's say tt equals to turtle dot turtle. So this is the way Turtle runs. Okay, if you are seeing this, and so why we are doing this, so this is how Turtle is meant to be performed. So now if you run and run this, right, so run this, see, you saw something opened up and closed, right? Now if you wanted that window to be visible throughout, right, you can write turtle.done. Now if you run this, see, you'll get a graphical thing like this, and you'll see a pointer here, right? This is a pointer. Now if you want to convert this pointer, what you can do is you can say tt dot shape and make it turtle. Now if you run this once again, see, now you have the pointer, the shape of turtle. So what you can do with Turtle is you can draw shapes, you can draw circles, and you can draw anything that you like. So let's draw a rectangle so that you understand how Turtle works. So what you can do, you can draw tt dot forward, and you put the pixel that it wants to go forward. So you can do 100. Okay. Now if you run this, see, it will pull a line of 100 pixels in the front. Okay. And now if you want to increase the size of this drawing, right, you can do tt dot pen size, let's make it 30. Run this once again. See, now you get a fat line. Okay, let's do one thing. Okay, now you can see this line, right? Now let's more than 100, let's make it 200 and see, so that the line grows longer and we know what we can do with it. So you can see a line growing, right? Now you want it to come below, then come in the left direction, then go to the right. So what you can do, there are some more property. You can turn the turtle. What you can do, tt dot, you want to turn to the right, right? And here you pass the degree. Suppose you want to turn by 90 degrees, so that it turns straight to the bottom. Then again you can do tt dot forward, suppose by 100. Now if you run this, see, it will go straight, it will turn 90, that is below, again it will go forward, means it will start drawing. Now you need to go to in this direction to the left, that means you need to turn to the right again and go in the up direction. So what you can do, tt dot right by 90 degree, then tt dot forward, go by 200. Now if you run this once again, now the last thing is we need to go to the top, right? We need to go to the top. What you can do once more the right and go in the forward direction by 100. And let's run this once again. See, it goes. Now you can form a full rectangle like this. Similarly, like this you can also form a circle. So let me comment this out and we'll form a circle. So what you can do is you can do tt dot circle and put the radius here like 100. Now if you run this, say, it will form a circle of 100 radius like this. So these are some of the simple graphics that you can do. We have constructed one for us for this project, that is called let's code together.py. Let's run this and see what it prints. So you can do python let's code together.py. You see, it will form a big screen. Then let's wait for some time to see. Then you can see it's writing some word. So these are some of the graphics that you can do. You can write text, you can draw shapes and all this using turtle. It's up to your imagination what you can do. You can everything that's in vector like things, right? You can draw using this turtle. You can make stars, houses and whatever you like. So that is how turtle works. So similarly like turtles, if you wanted to game your level up by 1, right, then you can use one more package that is called, let me comment this out. There is one more called Tkinter. Okay, this is for creating GUI, graphical user interface. So what you can do, suppose you wanted to create a button and you wanted to, when you type over there, it will print something like this, then you can use this package called Tkinter. Okay, so if you wanted to learn about Tkinter, you can go to this website. I'll just put the URL here. You can do this website. So what you have done, for this class we have created a simple project on it. So let me run this so you can see what we can do using this. You can python subscribe.py. See, we created a window where it shows you the time. So currently it's 5:23 and it has a button called subscribe. Okay, then if you want to see how the scripts look like, you can do, let me open the script. So it's like this. You need to import Tkinter, then we have your web browser also, and something like this. Okay, now if you run this, when you run this, you'll be getting something like this window. You'll see the time, you'll see subscribe. Now when you click the subscribe button, right, see, it will open up our YouTube channel and you'll have a confirmation if you wanted to subscribe, and it will get subscribed. Okay, so that is a simple thing you can do using Tkinter, but Tkinter is more powerful than turtle, whereas turtle uses Tkinter in the back of it. So if you wanted to get started with Tkinter to build some GUI apps, it's the best idea to learn how Python works so that you can see something interactive directly on your screen. So you can look over this example. This is a simple example of it, but it will still give you understanding how buttons and all this works, how spacing and this work. And moreover, I have given you the link right here. go to this link and you'll know how Tkinter works. So this was all about import. I hope you understood import. Understanding import is very useful because since for the Python community to grow, right, it's all the packages and the module that our community makes so that we can use them. So understanding how import works and what are the things we can import, how we can import our own Python script, or how we can import some third-party website, like third-party created packages, like how we imported this requests, right, request. So understanding this is very useful, and I hope you understood how we can do for our as well as for the third party, and some of the fun little projects that Python includes by default, like using this anti-gravity, turtle, web browser. Look at this, and if you find this useful, just go over this Tkinter a little bit more, learn how Tkinter, how you can create button and all that, how you can write text, and just create a simple app out of using this Tkinter. So I'm thinking of creating a project where we will make a simple GUI. It's like a complete app things using Tkinter. But yeah, that will be in the later part of, not now, since now we have to complete the series of where we learn most of the things. So in the next video mostly we'll learn about error handling or files handling. So yeah, that was it for today. Let's push it to GitHub. So now let me cancel this and just see what are the changes. You can do git status. So these are all the changes. Just do git add all, git commit. What we learned today about importing packages. Okay, we committed it. Let's push it. Git push origin main. So this should get pushed. Now if you go to the GitHub website, you go to import. Let's wait for some time, and if you go 13 import module, and you can see all of our scripts is there. So look at the Tkinter, look at how turtle works. Start with turtle because turtle is simple and there are very less things to do. We already have an example here. Okay, go to this example called let's code together. So go to this let's code together. Here we have this about turtle. Let's do one thing inside the turtle. Look at example. Let's code together .py. Okay, and for the similar for this Tkinter, what we can do, look at example that is called subscribe.py. Let's push this also because you need to know where we can have a little bit of reference. So git add all, git commit examples, git push origin main. So for Tkinter you can look at subscribe.py, and for turtle you can look at let's go together.py, and you'll know how this two of this project works. Okay, now if you refresh this, I hope you'll get this here, and if you go to the bottom, yeah, you can see the look at example here. So yeah, that was it for today. I hope you understood how import works. If you're facing any difficulties or you feel like I did not go through some topic more clearly, please comment out and I'll try to solve it. And yeah, that was it for today. Thank you for watching. See you in the next.